American Pride Roasters is coffee from the heartland of America. Based out of Des Moines, Iowa, APR Coffee brings history to your coffee mug every morning. Try the Jefferson, a smooth Nicaraguan coffee with real vanilla bean, or the Franklin, a French-roasted Colombian coffee. If you can't make up your mind, we have 2-pound samplers featuring all of our founding flavors. For all your coffee needs, check out AmericanPrideRoasters.com. Historically great coffee. This is Susan Knowles with Stand for Truth Radio, and this is a special edition of Knowles on the News. Well, as you know, this has been a very exciting weekend. Finally, for our side, it looks like that we were very successful in having a national day of protest against Planned Parenthood. Although I really didn't see a lot of it mentioned on mainstream media. In fact, I'm not sure I saw even one broadcast on the news in regards to the protests. There were thousands, reportedly, that turned out in support of defunding Planned Parenthood. I was able to watch a couple on Periscope, and I did see one event that was happening near Sacramento, California, where Planned Parenthood apparently didn't like having the protesters out front, and they immediately turned on very loud music so that it would drown out anything that the protesters were saying. But that really didn't stop them, and you could hear pretty clearly even over the loud music. I think God was letting everything come through for those people that were there. If I could hear it on Periscope, then I'm sure those people that were there at the event were hearing it just as well. I also saw a Facebook posting from Alveda King. They claimed that they had about 300 protesters with her, and the event went really well. So, again, very good news for all of us who believe that Planned Parenthood and the killing of babies and the selling of body parts should be immediately stopped and defunded. It can't go on. It's despicably evil. It is a spiritual battle that we're fighting, and we must not give up. Other good news on the front is that a Democrat has decided that he no longer can be a Democrat. Now, why is that? Well, it apparently, with the decision by the Democrats to back Planned Parenthood, he has decided that he can no longer be a Democrat because it goes against his personal beliefs. Thank God for that. So he is becoming a Republican, and this is, his name is Michael Holcomb in Arkansas. And he has made that decision, and we are so glad that he has. And this will, of course, help the Republicans in their representation that they have and in the majority that they have. Hopefully he can come over and do some good and maybe bring the Republicans back to a more conservative side. We can only hope. But you know what? Baby steps. Baby steps are certainly better than no steps. And we, on the conservative side, have been silent for far too long. Everybody spoke up yesterday at those rallies and let the world know, let the people know, and let God know that we are not on the side of killing babies. And it is a spiritual battle. I don't care, what you think. Maybe you think, well, that's just outlandish. No, it's not. It is a despicable, evil thing that we're watching with Planned Parenthood. The unfortunate thing is this has probably been going on for more years than we are even comfortable knowing. And it's been going on right under our noses. And I think people had an idea about how bad things were, but nobody, I don't believe anybody, thought about how bad it really is. I mean, when you're having people that are excited about seeing, baby parts in a petri dish that you're yelling at, oh, look, another boy, and so excited about that. I don't think anybody knew just how depraved all of this has gotten. And it's so sad for some of those people that have worked there in Planned Parenthood for so long. To me, in my mind, and I'm not speaking for them, and I'm not speaking, making allegations against Planned Parenthood or anybody else, but I can tell you something. I've heard that some of them have said that, they really became one of those depraved people, and they would end up laughing and joking about it, and joking about the people that moved in, let's say, next in the building next to them that were anti-abortion. And, oh, let's send them, a gift. We'll give them body parts, whatever the case may be. I think what happens, it's almost like, I don't know if people out there remember Patty Hearst, when she got captured by that group, and that, they indicated later on that, they had brainwashed her, and a PLO, and she had basically become part of them. And I think it's the same type of thing. You work someplace like that for so long, and in order to keep your sanity, you have to totally dismiss what you're doing, totally dismiss the relevance, the evil of what you're doing in order to be able to survive. And you become you become one of them, because to do otherwise would be condemning not only with what you're doing, but condemning as to yourself. You'd be condemning yourself for doing such hideous and harmful acts. So you have to, become a part of what's going on, so you can live in denial, basically, about what's going on. And it's really a sad thing to see people change so much and become like that. But sometimes it's a matter of survival for them to do that. Because I don't know about you. I don't know that I could survive it. I don't think I would ever be sort of, in that quote-unquote brainwashed kind of extent. But, for some people who have to work there and don't have any other way of feeding their families, they need a paycheck. It might be, that's part of what is happening. I'm not excusing, certainly, anything that they're doing. But it's just a fascinating way to kind of look at, when something is so depraved and so horrible, that's a lot of times for people the only way to survive it. Now, do I think the doctors who want the Lamborghinis and, are sitting there sipping their wine are doing that? No, I don't. I really don't. I think some of those people made a very conscious effort to be there. And they look at it as, well, it's not really a life. It's not crying. It's not eating food outside of the womb yet. Whatever they may tell themselves, I don't know. But from some of the things that I've seen, were actual formed babies that with a heartbeat, they are live. They are babies. And those that were talked about being in the birth canal and that came out and then were killed at that point, those were babies. You can't justify any of that if you're one of these people who are sitting there taking this so lightly. You have a choice. You don't have to do that. As a doctor, especially somebody that highly skilled, you can go anywhere and get a job. You can get a job like that in the United States and even outside of the United States doing some type of medical procedures to help people rather than to kill babies. So I don't excuse that kind of behavior for people at the top echelon, and especially those people that are sitting there, talking about what car they want. So let's just charge more money to make more money. It's really, again, it's a spiritual warfare that we are in. And I think yesterday we took a big step towards trying to turn that around. I think that having a Democrat that comes out and says, I can't do this anymore, I'm going over to the other side because this is totally against everything spiritually and personally that I believe. That's a really good sign. The people that were at the rally yesterday, you should be really proud of yourself. You got to someone. You changed someone's mind. You changed someone's heart, and you made them look at it. And I'm sure that people at the rallies yesterday also, to some of the young mothers that came up and were considering abortion, one or two at least You have to know, with all the thousands of the protesters that were out there, you know that at least one or two, and I'm sure there were plenty more, but one or two at least, are going to hesitate and perhaps change their minds about going through with an abortion because of the steps that you took. And you can be so proud of yourselves that you put yourselves out there, that you took a stand, that you said, I'm not going to sit quietly anymore and let this happen, not on my watch. You know, because again, as I've said on this program so many times, this isn't about you answering to the guy next door, the woman next door, your congressperson, whatever. This is about you answering to your God. And that's what it's always been about, and that's what we have to keep focused on. Why we're doing this. It's not because of anything in this world. It's of the next. It is of God. And we have to take a stand and show that we are on the right side. You know, just like with progressives, it's taken them a very, very long time. But they have stuck to it. They have taken subtle steps. They have taken years upon years, deliberately, intentionally, moving forward every single day, trying to chip away at the conservative Christian values. And they have done a great job. You have to give it to them. They really have done a great job. They didn't give up. They just kept going and kept going and kept chipping away at the hearts and minds and souls of people until they got a foothold in, and they're still in tightly right now. And it's that requirement of us now that we have to be deliberate, intentional, and step by step going in to chip away at what they have so strongly entrenched in our society today. Don't give up, though. Don't feel like this is something that has to happen all overnight. It's not going to. But do you understand what you did? The shift that occurred because of what you did. Is it going to change everything 100%? Is it going to defund Planned Parenthood? I don't know. And that's not really what's important. What's important is the stand you took, the beliefs that you have, and the seeds that you are planting. It may be that we are 100% successful, and it may be that we are not successful greatly at all, but that doesn't matter. It matters what we're doing. It matters that we're speaking out. It matters that we continue to speak out, because this is important. This is why you are here. This is what matters. Doesn't matter who's playing football on Sunday. It doesn't matter what happens next week as the stock market. I mean, it matters in our lives about the stock market, but not as much in our lives as it does about Planned Parenthood. And the children that they're killing, the ones who could become the next president, the next doctor, the next cafeteria worker who saves somebody else's soul. That's what's important, and that's what's being destroyed. And folks, again, what we're seeing in those videos is pure evil. You're looking right at it, and I know people are saying, I can't watch those videos. Make yourself watch those videos. I don't like watching horrible things, but you know what? I will not sit and close my eyes when it comes to what I'm seeing. I will not sit and close my eyes when it comes to watching murder. I am not going to do it. And I will force myself to watch all of them. And I want you to share those videos with everyone. And I want you to warn them ahead of time. This is going to be something that you probably don't want to see, but something that you really need to see, because you need to be aware of what is happening under your watch. And if you can watch those and say, I'm okay with this, well, you know what? Then move on to the next person. Because there's going to be somebody who says, oh my God, I didn't realize that was happening. And believe it or not, there are people right now who probably have no idea that this is going on. Even though 7 videos have been released, there are still people out there who are not watching the news, who are not paying attention, that have no idea. And that's where you come in. Social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Periscope, whatever you need to do. You just continue the fight and you continue to tell people the truth. And if they turn away from the truth, that's not your problem. But if you don't tell them the truth and they never know, and babies continue to die because of that, that's going to be a problem. Moving on to another subject, I wanted to talk a little bit about Donald Trump. You know, he is drawing a crowd. I don't care if you support him or not. You have to recognize that there's really something going on with Donald Trump that's not easily going to go away. And you may say, gosh, I hope it goes away or it's going to burn out soon or whatever. You know what? I don't see that yet. There is momentum. For somebody who got 30,000 to 40,000 people on their campaign trail the other day, that's amazing. You know, we haven't seen that kind of attention to a candidate in 8 years. And I think, you know, one of the things, you know, I've talked about this before, people love it because Donald Trump is saying what they can't say. He's flat out telling it like it is. You know, is he doing things that may sound rude at times or whatever? You know, some of the things that he's saying, they may have a little edge to them, let's say. I'll give it that. It's got an edge to it. Move on. You know, unless he's committing a crime or doing something heinous or just absolutely being absurd, move on. Work past it. Let's see what he's going to do. Let's quit trying to keep him from every debate. Let's quit trying to challenge him every way we can to have him slip up. You know, that's exactly what the media wants, and that's what they're hoping that you will do. That you will discount him, that you won't take a look at who he is and what he's saying and what he really means, etc., etc. You know, again, at this point, I'm not a Donald Trump supporter. Does that mean I won't vote for him if he gets the nomination? No, that doesn't mean that. It's too early in the game, but I'm willing to have an open mind and listen rather than try to shut him down because he just doesn't happen to be maybe a candidate that I like. And I'll tell you another thing that Donald Trump is doing, and I don't know if you've seen this or not or if you have the same feelings, but he is finally giving the GOP, the other candidates, most of them, not all of them, he's finally giving them some cojones. You know, that's what's been missing for a number of years. The GOP coming up and apologizing on their apology tour for the past God only knows how long. He's showing them this is not who the American people want. Wake up. And you will see candidates fall to the wayside who aren't willing to step up. Because, I mean, how long have we talked about how our candidate doesn't represent our conservative values? How long have we been saying, gosh, I only wish we could get, you know, Ronald Reagan back and everything would be fine because he stood up and knew what the American people wanted for the most part and gave us what we wanted. It was on our side. You know, I'm so tired of seeing people like Boehner and Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham who have no idea what we want or does and doesn't care. And finally we have a candidate. We'll see if he's more than just talk. But finally a candidate who is standing up and saying, we're being played for fools, America. And I know people out there that say, yeah, well, you know, the American people being played for fools by Donald Trump. We'll see. We'll see. But all I know is that those who have an opportunity to step up and finally represent the American public are doing so better right now because Donald Trump gave them a little bit of cojones that they've been missing. So let's not discount him. If that's all he does, I'm happy with it. Because I'm sick and tired, again, of people, you know, our candidates on the GOP walking with their heads down and their tails between their legs. Sick and tired of seeing that. I don't know if you are, but I don't know how you couldn't be. I don't want somebody who's mealy-mouthed. I want a leader. And is that leader going to solve all of our problems? No. But I don't know anybody who ever followed somebody who couldn't lead. It just doesn't happen. That's why they call them leaders. And that's what the American public needs. So we're going to keep an eye on Donald Trump. And some other good news today. I know this is, small as compared to some other things, but I was so happy to see that the Washington Redskins came out and said, no, we are not going to change our names. Our name from the Washington Redskins. We're not going to change the Redskins name. We've had enough of the political correctness crap. We're tired of it. We're not going to have you come in and do what you've done with the Confederate flag and with other things that you've wanted to do. Most of the people who are Native Americans have said that the Redskins, they're honored by that. I think that name was in the first place to honor the Native Americans. I'm part Native American. I'm not offended by that. And they said they would go so far as moving their location, and they don't care if they're not going to get a new stadium. They're not changing the name. Good for them. You know what I say? Come to San Diego. We could use another NFL team. It's okay. We'll call you the San Diego Redskins. And guess what? People will come to your games and they'll be happy. And I tell you what, we have a lot of Native American, Indian reservations around here. Viejas and the Kumeyaay Indians. I'll tell you what, it would not surprise me if they came out and rolled out the red carpet for them. Because they know a winning team, or they know a winning type of event when they see one. They know that that's going to bring in money. I don't think the name Redskins is going to matter one bit of difference to them. And I think there will be other people who will say, you know what, come over here. I mean, look at Atlanta. Atlanta could take them. They have the Atlanta Braves. Oh my gosh, maybe we should take that name and change it to what? The Atlanta Cowards. Maybe that would be better. Come on. Enough is enough. When are we going to stop worrying about the petty stuff and start worrying about what's really important? And the progressive would like nothing more than for you to spend your time, spin your wheels, and focus your attention on something as ridiculous as changing the name of the Washington Redskins. Meantime, they can do whatever they want. We can let the Christians over there in the Middle East be beheaded. We can have women raped over there in the Middle East and tortured. But boy, we better get those Washington Redskins to change that name. Come on. Enough is enough. There's so much every day going on in the news that's so much more important than what they would want us to be focused on. And you know what? We need to change that. We need to change our focus. Get back to the important stuff. Let them just swim in their own stuff. And let's keep focused on what we know we need to keep focused on. It also came out today, no surprise, that Obama has spent 1,100 hours on the golf course as president of this United States. That's 247 rounds of golf. Gosh, I don't know about you, but I'm so proud. I'm so proud that this is the legacy that the President of the United States is going to leave. And not only that legacy, but the legacy of making a deal with Iran that could potentially destroy the United States and the friends of the United States, well, at least used to be friends of the United States in Israel, among other nations. What a legacy. I mean, how proud should you be if you are the president who has that type of legacy? And the amount of money that this president and his family has spent on vacations. I read something that this last trip that Michelle Obama and her mom and I guess the girls went to Venice and other parts of the UK, things like that. Over $200,000 in airfare alone. Can you imagine what good could have been done with that money? One thing that I know I'm preaching to the choir, that you should always know about progressives. They will always tell you how to live your life, but they will never live the same life. Because they know they don't have to. They live in a world that is totally and completely different from ours. But all at the same time, they're sitting there trying to make you believe that they understand you. For all those people that are against Trump saying, well, he's rich and he doesn't get you and how could you be fooled? Well, how could you be fooled looking at all the people like Obama, Nancy Pelosi, Mitch McConnell, Harry Reid, just to name a few, that sit there and tell you, oh my gosh, we so understand how hard it is because we're right there with you. And all those people in Congress like Boehner and Mitch McConnell and on, who are getting rich off of being in that office and not doing what they were put there to do. Those people have no clue as to who you and I are and what we go through. Now, even though John Boehner came from humble beginnings, he is absolutely sold out. He is not the person that he was when he went in there, as far as being of a humble mind, a humble heart, and knowing what it's like to be the little guy. And people will say, well, you don't know him, you're judging him, whatever. Yeah, I'm judging from what I see. I don't know about his relationship with God or anything else, and I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about somebody who came from humble beginnings and probably knew what it was like to be poor. Certainly at this point in his life, I can't see that he remembers any of that. So let's remember who we're dealing with. It's not just one person that you should be cautious about. If you want to vet Donald Trump, go ahead and vet him. Everyone should be vetted. But you need to continue to look at these people that you have in there right now and get them out. How many times do we have to reelect John McCain and John Boehner? I mean, how many times do we need to do that before we can say, man, this is a total mistake. These people aren't who they say they are. So GOP, I'm speaking to you, the GOP voters. You've got to get these people out of office. And I've said this before, you've got to get the people, the up-and-coming people that are in your local area, that are sitting on different local boards and local city councils and all that. You need to get those people vetted and get them out now before they have an opportunity to move up to a national level. If you want to know what you can do, people always say, what's the solution? Well, that's one solution. Get these people out now before they get started. Because when they're hungry like that for fortune and fame, not to do what they were sent there to do, that's what they'll do. They'll start at the local level and they will just quickly move themselves up. And you have to get rid of the bad fruit before it can multiply. And the only way to do that is to vote them out before they get a foothold. Because again, progressives get a foothold and then they grow like weeds. So we have to be smarter, quicker, and do a better job than we've been doing. And I know that we can. Keep your focus where it needs to be. Keep your focus in the right place. Don't get bogged down in the little things, because that's where they want you to be. Until next time, I hope that you will think about all these things. I hope you'll also join me on my show tomorrow night, 6 o'clock Pacific, 9 o'clock Eastern, when I welcome a guest and is going to talk totally on the subject of Islam. I think that you're going to be shocked, but he is going to lay it out, no holes barred. He's going to tell you the truth about what this religion is all about. And then, from there, you can make up your own mind. But tell a friend, be there. You can go to my website at susanknowles.com for all the details. Again, it's tomorrow night, 6 o'clock Pacific, 9 o'clock Eastern. Till then, see you then, and God bless.